TIFU by asking kids at the park to help find my puppy. For the longest time I've wanted to adopt a puppy. My previous apartment didn't allow dogs, but I recently moved and decided to adopt a beautiful 5-month-old mutt called Ella. Ella's favorite spot is the park a few blocks down. She has a little bit of a following with the regular park goers. So here's where the trouble began. I had workmen over and they forget to lock the door. Ella, seeing a gateway to the outside world, promptly ran through and got herself lost. I decided to go to the park to see if she wound up there. One of the regular children, Elliot, asked me where Ella was at. Elliot would always come around to pet her whenever I visited. I told him that I had lost Ella and asked if he had seen her. He became very sad and replied that he hadn't, but would tell me if he did. 5 minutes pass and I am still checking around the park when I see Elliot leading a band of 6 other kids, all darting around to each corner of the park. I just assume he's playing a game. I give up my search and was about to get back into my car. I don't normally drive, so my friend had lent me his vehicle so I could more easily hunt down Ella. I was cruising around in a black Honda Odyssey minivan. So I am about to pull away when I see Elliot's band of children all next to their respective parents. A couple of thoughts go through my mind. Her parents look concerned, wonder what happened. Hey, why are the kids pointing towards my car? That's kind of oh shit. Suddenly the realization takes over. Strange man goes to the park, gets a bunch of little children to go search for his missing puppy, with the rendezvous being a black van. So I am freaking out. The parents are starting to walk towards my vehicle. I have a split-second decision on whether to try and explain myself or just book it. I booked it. What can I say? I am socially awkward. On the bright side, I found Ella later that afternoon. Apparently she ran straight into someone's open car door less than a minute after getting out. Poor girl thought she was going on a trip. TLDR. I went to a park looking for my lost puppy in a black van, accidentally got kids involved and fled the scene of the crime. TIFU by breaking my knob, squirting blood all over the floor and having her mother calm me down from my freak out. Thought you could all get a laugh out of my trauma. About 1.5 years ago I met a random girl at a club. We hit it off as you do and went back to hers. Lots of booze and drugs were flying around, important for later, and was generally having a really good time with each other. 30 minutes into LE sexy time. I'm sitting on a chair, she's on top doing her thing, and all of a sudden it feels super wet down there. The lights are off, by the way, and there's just some street lights glowing through the curtains, so can't really see much but outlines. I'm like, okay, cool. She's really enjoying this sex is great, let's all thrust a bit harder. Then she says, wow, this is wet, I've never been this wet before, so amazing, everyone's in the moment having a smashing time. 15-20 minutes later, when we both want a breather, I get up to turn the light on so I can find my way to the kitchen so I can get some water. Now this is where it all goes downhill. Light goes on, both look at the floor, and there is a huge puddle of blood. I'm taking like 1/2-3/4 of a pint's worth just on the floor under the sexy time chair. Cue freak out from both parties. We both look down to check who fucked up, and then the banjo string on yet. Penis is hanging by a thread, just dripping blood everywhere. Erection has now subsided and it isn't gushing out like it did when I had an erection. In the midst of my freak out, the girl calls her mother like, WTF, Samantha? Really? While I'm standing there basically thinking my dick's gonna fall off. Mother answered and wants to talk to me. Turns out she's a doctor in sexual health. She ends up calming me down and making me realize that my dick is not going to fall off or shrivel up into a raisin from the loss of blood, bearing in mind this is like 3 a.m. So I didn't really feel it snap because of the copious amounts of booze and Snow White that was floating around my system. Can't do anything for it, she says, just gotta leave it alone for a bit, 6 weeks. So we ended up falling asleep and laughing about it the next morning. A first for both of us. There is now a small scar on my penis from that horrific evening. TLDR, met girl at club, had sex, broke dick, squirted blood all over the floor, spoke to mother of random girl I'm banging, she's a doctor and calms me down from thinking my knob is gonna fall off. Edit, hideous grammar. TIFU by chasing a stranger through New York City until he threw his briefcase at me. Obligatory, not today, but a few years ago I was in New York for a job interview. I land the day before and lose track of time exploring. It's dark out, there are very few people on the street, and my phone is dead because I insisted on snapping a million pictures like the goddamn tourist I am. I am not a big person. I am small amp, weak amp, I know it. And those streets felt a lot scarier in the dark. I decide the safest thing to do is to appear that I am with someone. There's a guy heading in the direction of my hotel who's at least twice my size and in a suit that looks like it costs more than my car. I figure even if he's a killer, he'd have to be a moron to risk getting blood on that suit. So he's the chosen one. I catch up to him and walk just close enough so robbers, murderers, and such might assume we're together. You know, just close enough to be creepy. Throughout our walk my chosen buddy keeps picking up his pace. I am thinking, nay man, it's real dark, let's go up here, so I do the same. He keeps looking around, amp behind him clearly starting to get nervous. This feeds my fear that me and my new buddy are definitely in danger. So I am trailing him like my life depends on it. He crosses the street. I cross the street. He turns a corner. So do I. Luckily he was always heading in the general direction of my hotel. Just as we are getting close, this dude takes one more look behind him and breaks out into a full-blown sprint. I am too fucking scared to even look. I just start running. It's all kind of a blur of fear, amp, adrenaline, but I think some weird guttural scream escaped my mouth. He whips around and throws his bag/briefcase at me. I jump out of the way and sprint in the direction of my hotel. I was so wound up I didn't sleep at all that night and did horrible at my interview. No one has ever found me intimidating, so it didn't dawn on me until later that day when I finally chilled TIFU that he was probably scared of me. The creeper following him for no apparent reason. Facepalm. To my chosen buddy in New York, I am sorry I chased you. On the off chance there was a Freddy Krueger wannabe chasing both of us, thank you for sacrificing your briefcase. You re my hero. TLDR, I accidentally chased a stranger through New York because I am scared of the dark. Cost him a briefcase and me a job. Alternatively, this dude saved my life. You decide. TIFU by going to the bathroom in the dark. So this happened today at about 2 a.m. As a bit of a background, my house doesn't have AC as there's only about 2.5 months of hot weather where we live. So we open the windows at night and make do with fans. Both my wife and I are originally from high-crime urban areas, and even though we are now living the calm rural life, some of those instincts don't go away. As such, my wife gets very paranoid during the summer with the windows open all night. So around 2 a.m. I wake up and have to pee. I roll out of bed and start making my way there. I am stumbling around more than bit in the dark, half asleep without my glasses, and just being a huge klutz. I get to the bathroom door, push it open, and pow. Next thing I know, I am on my ass seeing stars and my nose is bleeding. Turns out about 5 minutes before I woke up, my wife had the same issue. So she goes to the bathroom also half asleep and does her business. Right as she's getting up from the toilet, she starts hearing someone shambling about the house and her paranoia flares up. Her sleepy brain decides to go into let's hide mode and she quickly turns off the lights in the bathroom. However, the shambling noises get closer and closer and the bathroom door starts to open. So naturally my wife, who is one tough lady, punches the intruder right in the face. She was very apologetic afterward, but I can't really blame her instincts. Next time I'll make sure to note whether or not she's still in bed when I get up in the middle of the night. TLDR, went to pee at 2 a.m. and my wife almost broke my nose. TIFU by wearing the wrong size shoes for my entire adult life. Okay, so by TIFU standards this is pretty tame, but considering the years of agony I unintentionally put myself through, I think it qualifies. I have fairly weird sized feet. They re very wide but not all that long. I have no arch to speak of. I am a fairly short guy, about 5'7", and that has always played a role in my shoe size selection. I am pretty short, so I should be wearing a fairly small size, right? Wrong. When I was a kid my mom would measure the new shoes she bought for me by pressing the toe and making sure I had about a half inch to an inch of space to grow into. As an adult I assumed, well, since I am full grown I should buy shoes in which my toes reach all the way to the end. For me that's a size 10 US. Problem was I kept blowing out the sides of the shoes with my wide ass feet. No problem, I'll switch to size 10W. Still no luck. Still blowing the sides out of them and suffering chronic foot pain. My running shoes were so ill-fitted that I actually suffered a hairline fracture from running with my pancake feet jammed into those narrow little torture chambers. My friend was getting rid of a bunch of stuff he didn't need, including a pair of really nice brand new size 11 5W Nikes. I said, sure, fuck it, I'll take them, let us see how they fit. Oh my God. It was like wearing pillows made of clouds on my feet. I was walking on cotton candy and unicorn farts. I had no idea how much misery I had been in until I wore those shoes. I wonder now if some of my poor life decisions have just been because I was in a bad mood because of so much needless foot pain and didn't realize it. There's about 3/4 of an inch of room in the toes, but that doesn't bother me at all. TLDR, I am almost 36 and for fully 18 years I have been wearing shoes a size and a half too small because I was too much of an idiot to try on larger shoes.